back to another little mini chit chat video. Welcome back to another little mini reaction video. So before we go ahead and get into this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Shout out to all our Purple Heart members. Thank you guys for all of your support in advance. You will see this video once it re-uploads onto YouTube. So shout out to you guys. If you didn't get a chance to make the live, thank you for your support in advance. So today I wanted to go ahead and talk about, so actually it's a take two. I did this last night, but for some reason once I got off live, it didn't transfer over properly to YouTube, and so excuse me, I want to go ahead and do the video over. Um and now I see everybody's talking about it. So now I know for sure you guys will have an idea about what I'm talking about, right? So I wanted to go ahead and talk about Chrisean Rock and Bino. So clearly the gloves have come off. He's been going live, she's been going live, he's been saying stuff, she's been saying stuff. They've been going back and forth. He's been talking about her parenting, she calling him ugly. Just, your typical back and forth. But there is just something that she said that got me, and I was like, wait, what did she say? I mean, we all knew it was, like, I think we all started figuring it out that this was not like organic. This was definitely manufactured. This is clearly, for business. His baby mother came out. She just started spilling the beans, and then it just started becoming more and more obvious that this was like a for clout type of situation. It was beneficial for both people involved. He was gonna be making music, promoting that. She was gonna be, shooting baddies and all that stuff. So it was clearly like a contractual situation, right? Um I just think what happens is what always happens. You know what I mean? People get caught up, people catch feelings, people, cross the line. It stops being business and it becomes business plus pleasure. And that never ends well, right? Because the lines get blurred. But especially, there's something else that she said in her live when she was responding to his video, when she was talking about, don't pretend to be something that you're not. And then that's something that the baby mother also alluded to, which kind of makes sense if you think about it really. His parents are pastors. I think the father, one of them is a pastor. So he clearly grew up in the church. It's something that he talked about in his little mini docu series I watched. Um, so this is somebody who recently got baptized, and no judgment, right? No judgment. It's not my place to judge. That's not what we're doing. I'm just connecting the dots a little bit. So, and this is something that Stunner Girl also alluded to, the fact that it's like a persona, like this type of lifestyle you're portraying. It's like, it's not really real. It's not who he is for real, for real. And then they all started talking about this sugar mama. I forgot the name of the lady, but they were implying that, it was his credit cards, it was her credit cards, sorry, that he was using, taking Krishan on these like shopping sprees, while during the whole love bombing situation, which is something that he did with Stunner Girl too, just that she was not really falling for that. And she wasn't interested in that, right? So obviously, in Krishan he found someone who was down for mutual beneficial relationship, quote unquote, right? So we saw like the pattern developing, like the stuff started just adding up just a little bit. And I just think like the money situation, like she said, she stopped wanting to do the job. She wanted to quit. She did not want to do the fake relationship anymore for PR, she said. Um So she just didn't want to do that anymore. So that would be around the time where she kind of took off and went with her sister to do all these bookings. She went to Baltimore. Things just kind of went left in Vegas, I feel, which is something that he alluded to in his video, about whatever happened allegedly with her son in the hotel room and all this type of stuff. Whatever transpired at the hotel in Vegas is kind of where things just went left. She left and went on to do what she's doing, and he was just kind of left with this album to promote, music video. He made songs about her, songs named after her. Like, what are you going to do after all of that investment, right? You're going to drop the music anyway, regardless of what's happening. And they tried to do damage control. There were a couple of fake Instagram things where he made like this public thing about, I still love Chrisean, I love Chrisean, blah 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 blah. But by then the bloom had fallen off the rose, as they say. Like, it was over with, right? Whatever was said in Vegas was said. There was no going back from that. But for a while, I mean, she kind of let him do the promoting of the album. They put out the music. She didn't say anything. The whole fake making up on Instagram, she didn't really say much. Kind of let that go. But now it seems like, um in the live I watched when she was talking about her boyfriend and all this other stuff. So it looks like she's moved on, allegedly, right? She's moved on. And so we've seen this particular pattern with her before as well. It happened with Malu. I'm thinking that's the name. Once that project was completed, all that stuff that we're doing on social media, all that stuff was just for, it was business. It was not real. She was never with him. She made that known and she moved on to the Iggy or whatever, Figgy or whatever his name is. And that went on for a while, and then that fell by the wayside, and that's just how it went. So there's a pattern obviously here as well, like, but the supporters, social media is social media. They will always kind of fall for that stuff, whether they know it's PR or not. Somewhere along the lines it always gets messy anyway, because they get personal, that crashes and burns, and it all kind of plays out on social media. So I always, like I said in the video prior, and I wish the video hadn't gotten screwed up and you guys were able to hear the original reaction. But like I said in one of the videos where I talked about this, I think it was the one where he was like talking about her hygiene and talking about her parenting and all this stuff. Whenever people break up, I always side eye everything that's being said on both sides, right? Because everybody wants to make themselves look the best in any type of situation. They never take accountability. It's never their fault. It's always the other person. Like I said in my prior video, if all this horrible stuff was going on, why were you still there? You know what I mean? Does that mean then that you were motivated by more than genuine feelings? Obviously, you were motivated by clout and money and fame and all the rest of it. Because if you were able to stomach all these horrible things you're now saying, what does that say about you? That's what I always ask guys. When they start the bashing of, oh, she was this and she was that, and her body was this and the sex was that, and blah 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 blah. I'm always like, so why did you stay for so long? Why did you stay for 10 years? Why did you stay for 2 months? Why did you even stay the night? If it was so terrible, would that mean that you're also the things that you're accusing the person of being, or like, what would be the justification? I never ever understand that. Just go your separate ways and keep it pushing. There's no need to do all of this extra stuff because you just make yourself look crazy. If you Somebody asked him on one of his live if he, like, if they were intimate, because one of her things was that she was celibate. I don't think anybody really believed that, to be honest. Like, we're grown here. But somebody asked him if he was intimate with her, and he said yeah, about 5 times, and then it started getting, and then so he wasn't anymore. And it's like, You sound crazy. Like any regular guy, you're not attractive to the person, you're not attracted to the person, or you feel like their hygiene is off, or whatever the case may be, you're not even going to go, not even once, much less five. So, right there, these are like red flags. It's like, I can't believe nothing you're saying. You don't have any credibility because you were all up in it. And if anything was happening that you felt was wrong, or should get other people involved, then as a parent yourself, you should make that call. You should have made that call, not after the fact, right? Not after the fact. No, you're on your character assassination tour, right? It's easy when the person is viewed a certain type of way. You could say whatever. I'm not saying what he's saying is not true or it is true. Only they know. Only those two know. I don't want to get into the who's lying and who ain't lying. When people break up, people say whatever. They add on, they take off, they subtract, they put. I don't really. That's why I don't really get into that type of reaction content, that type of stuff, because it's just a bunch of mudslinging. He said, she said, they said. My friends are gonna back me up. Your friends are gonna back you up. They're gonna get mother to back you up. Everybody's gonna have something to say, but at the end of the day, we, the people who were consuming the content, can remember quite clearly when you were booed up. You know what I mean? Boot up, in the bed, the toe sucking, all that type of stuff. So just spare me all of that. If you're the type of guy who would go so far with someone knowing all the things you now claim to know, you kind of, you get what you get. You deserve what you get. That's just where I am with that. Talking about things that you do for the child after you break up is just corny to me. If you did it from a genuine place, you shouldn't even have to mention the fact that you paid $300 for the birthday party. Like, who needed to know that? Oh, she said he never had a birthday party, and like, you don't. Those are things that you don't need to disclose if it came from a genuine place. Like, these are the things I'm talking about. So it's just a lot. It's just a lot. I hope that Krishan can just move on from this stuff, and he can move on. You know what I mean? Move on, get back to your life, and you guys stop talking about each other, stop throwing mud um on each other's names, and just keep it pushing, because stuff is like getting a little bit out of hand. I know the T pages are loving it, because most of them like to bash Krishan anyway. I will say that I will say, mm, yeah, that was last night. Last night I was way more lenient. Today, in the light of day, things just look a little bit different. All these videos coming out, all these lives coming out, all these things being said. Um, yeah, we'll just leave it there. Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. If you were in my prior live where I was talking about this stuff, if it was messed up and stuff and you couldn't hear me, I do apologize for that. So that's why I wanted to come back and do my take two, because I really did want to talk about this. I really did want to talk about the fact that she finally admitted that it was all for business, and she stopped wanting to do that. I think that feelings got involved, and clearly with the baby mother popping out and letting it be known that this was told to her to be business and like nothing else, and all this other stuff, it kind of like puts a damper on things, you know what I mean? And the whole removal of the tattoo, because that was a big thing too. Before I go, yeah, that was a big thing too that he talked about in one of his lives, that the reason excuse me, the reason they broke up is because the big tattoo on her face of her baby father, and he had asked her to remove it. So that was never going to happen because this relationship was not real. So that was never part of the contract, sir. So there will be no tattoo removal, and I think that was another sticking point. It's like, and then the money situation. If you're using, oh, Star, that was the name of the, I guess, the alleged sugar mama. Her name is Star. If it was her credit card paying for everything, I'm thinking when all this stuff came out, maybe she cut off the financial strings, you know what I mean? So it's hard to maintain the lifestyle. A lot of stuff started coming out. You had the people who arranged the whole floral arrangement in the back of the Jeep when he picked her up on live, and he was, during the love bombing, he had the whole back of the Jeep decorated with roses and all this stuff. Well, the company who set that all up, they went on Instagram posting that they hadn't been paid and they want their money and all this type of stuff. So it's like, it's a contradiction, right? Cuz you can't be owing money and blowing money at the same time. It don't even make sense. So I just think that it kind of all fell through. And they were both left disappointed. I think she probably genuinely wanted someone to care about her, and he really wanted that clout and the fame for the music and the album and everything. Because the album came out, the songs, they're on YouTube, they didn't do as well as his other music because he has other music. He's not usually in the lovey lovey genre, right? His other music is actually really good. He's really good. He's a good rapper. But the whole, lover boy thing kind of went left because there was no more leading lady. Like, you can't make a whole album about one person and then that one person kind of leaves. How you going to promote the album? Right? How are you gonna make a love album and there's like this big tattoo of her ex on her face? Like, how is that gonna work? In the music videos and stuff, it was just never going to work. And I think the reality kind of sunk in. It was just getting a little too real and a little too hectic. So she decided to walk away. And in doing that, he's bitter about it. Obviously, he invested all this time and money, and he didn't get what he thought he was going to get out of the situation either. So now he's on the, he's upset. Some people will say rightly so, but some people would say, like, what were you expecting? Did you not survey the situation before you jumped in, or did you, like Stunner Girl say, did you just want a baddie? Any baddie would have did. Like, it didn't matter. Anyone would do. So that's what you get. Like, you can't look through the window, see it's a mess, and still open the door and go in and then blame other people. Like, life doesn't work that way. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. If you're keeping up with the whole Chrisean Bino quote unquote beef, whatever it is that's going on, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much. Those of you who stopped in, we do appreciate your time. Stay up and stay blessed, guys, and we'll catch up with you guys in another video. Deuces.